First actual sale for the morning, selling the reverse hollow Hypno, and then Ghastly. I believe that is just the regular hollow version, and altogether going away for a deal for 30. And now I have a little bit of time to actually talk, but good morning. It's Saturday, back once again over in Dayton. So that $30 deal, that was like the first thing, because they actually dropped by the booth at like the very last second. So I was kind of looking around. There's more Gundam stuff over across the way from my vendor buddy over there. Unfortunately, we're not even near the door that's back that way, because the entranceway last time was probably one of the best I've done in a while, and it was nice to be able to just have like a change of pace. Unfortunately, the people that were debating being here before, that I was going to take their spot, but unfortunately they're now at their spot, and now we unfortunately have to contend with it being quiet because it's kind of very dead period right now. Aside from that, just saw the Gundam stuff. I'll go through that. They had more available. It was around $689 is what I comped it at. They had a lot more than what was picked out, but they said that a buddy of theirs is going to probably be at their booth a little bit later this afternoon, so if they don't get any of the ones that we had put to the side, then I will basically be picking up a bunch of new stuff for the booth. It was like a lot of old arts. Their most expensive one, I think was the Char Ansible, which was the SP, not trainer, pilot. I was trying to remember what it was, and that one I think goes for about $150. It's pretty decently priced, not compared to like the X resources that I picked up over the past few weeks, but it's still one of the more desirable cards because Neo Zeon is like one of the top tier builds for the meta at the moment. That's pretty much the main update. I will basically hit record again whenever anything new gets to the booth, but that's about it, and I'll see you guys back in a second. Oh, there's a good chunk of stuff that I am getting rid of. To an old face that hadn't been here in a while. Is it Macy Collectibles, or what do you call it? Rarely Mint
card shop, yeah.
So you're opening a card store over in which area?
So it's on the border of Kettering and Moraine on South Dixie.
And do you have like a release date when y'all are opening it?
Our grand opening is actually next Friday, the 28th, I think?
28th.
Next Friday, yeah.
All right, so just be sure to check them out online. They are picking up all of this, and there's a good reason why. It's a lot of expensive stuff. A PSA 10 Rayquaza EX, and from Black and White era, there was like almost 700 pop for a 10, and it's crazy how expensive this has gotten up to, but market was around 1,200 or so, which we were looking at. It may be a little bit more, but we agreed on around 1,050 on trade on that. And they're not worrying about the 5, so much appreciated, man, and hopefully things are going to go well for you on that opening.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
I got a little bit of extra time on my hands. I just bumped into the adapter. Hopefully the mic still works. So, customer came in, wanted to sell a few things off. I've dealt with them before. They had all of these that they had like ripped prismatic. That was out of one of their packs, out of the booster bundle. That's very surprising because I've never had any luck whatsoever. Divine Chaos stuff, full art Limu, and then Vexorana. I have a hard time pronouncing her name. So that was one of the other ones that they had just pulled off, which those usually go pretty quick. And as far as the Gundam, I think they had pulled like a God Pack. I could be wrong because I know that was GDO 3. So these were like some of the bigger hits stuff. That SP, that was out of one of the GDO 5 packs that I had just like gotten recently. So they were lucky to get that out, and that's like a $70 to $80 card. So this ended up being around, I think it was like 100, no, I'm trying to think of like the exact amount, 250. I'll have to figure the price out later, but I mean, this was like the main stuff that we just snagged for a good amount. Did another quick sale with one of my regulars, and altogether originally 42, and it's going in for a discount price at 40, and probably the biggest would be that awesome VMAX, which very underrated and don't usually see very often. there's a few things that were missing. The Bonnie and then the PSA 10, Go 10, and Trunks. That one finally went. The problem was I had just changed the price up on it. So they got traded off for that. So they had to explain, because I don't really know too much about Bandai Japanese promos and certain winter stamps I'm still learning about, but the anniversary one, even though it is a Japanese single, it is in English, so I don't know the difference of why they started printing it off like that. So market on that, when we were double checking, almost was around 400, and that, I mean, I'm shocked by, because usually more recent comps on these tend to be a little bit more around 350 to 360, so I did comp at about 360, and it was about 307 on trade. They owed 4 on top, so basically they didn't owe anything on it, so we just did an equal trade on that. All right, I have a little bit of a time frame on my hands, because not very busy at the moment, but I wanted to kind of cover over on both piles, especially for this, because I didn't realize this was a new stamp promo. Not stamp promo, it's just a regular promo. Well, one of my regulars that had more vending series stuff, there was a few things that we had missed out. There was a Parasect, and I think it was a Venomoth. So I ended up securing these. The best one out of the bunch is the Magnemite. It's in near mint condition. There may be one small spot on it, but we snagged that one up from him. More stuff for that. There was a Furo, Parasect. There was another one that he had, but we just passed out on. This Sabrina's Mr. Mime, I put around LP, well, high LP, but low near mint. I mean, it's still Mr. Mime stuff, so we had to secure it. Sand Slash, that one's also a vending series. And this was around 50 in trade. They picked up one of the old Neo era Yukamoris. It was a first edition one. And then there was the pre-release stamp for Misty's Kingdra or Seadra, one of the two, but either way, that was an even trade on both of those right there. And as I said, vending series stuff always does very well for the booth. This right here was the only other thing that I just got done. One of my other regulars, they thought this was a $4 card, and it's a sealed Mihawk magazine promo from PSA Magazine. These I don't really see as much, mostly because it just came out. And now this is the second time we've gotten it. It's still factory sealed as far as the card is concerned. Thankfully, the card itself didn't bend. It's just the plastic. So I think they were around 110 is what I saw prices on them. So now I'd have to double check as far as what these seal promos are. And then of course, one of the other things that they basically had in their container, it was an ETB box. So they had sealed Pikachu World Championship promo, Titar, this is from the Knockout box, so that was a $10. There's about 5 Lucarios I had picked up just because we always need these. Somebody was wanting Japanese action rares, so I had to snag that one up. Hollow, Scyther from Hidden Fates, Xerneas from Chaos Rising, and then Rainbow Lapras VMAX. Trade-wise, I'm trying to remember the exact amount, but I think that was about 135. I'm gonna have to double. No, it was not 135. I think it was more closer to 160. So they picked up a few things. There was a small stack of stuff from that binder, and then the only other thing that they had gotten was a couple of cards in the case, and they just owed around 39 on top. All right, I won't get them on camera, but it is a lot of cards. So this took maybe at most maybe closer to 30, but they are picking up. There was around 300 and however much on the credit. No, they picked up some cards that were about 243, but they added a few more onto their stack. So they're picking up a good amount for their collection. They collected rainbows, so they got the Shaman, the Lapras that we just got, 2 of the Nomals, the illustration from Mega, and it's just goes on and on. The most expensive one they're getting is the Gouging Fire SAR. We just had some adjustments on that one. And then from them, we are picking up a decent amount of Pikachus, some promos, Charizards, like mix of everything. We were low on everything in the binder, so I'll have to go through that later, but they just owed 3 on top. So there's a good reason why the Chiyu is out. Person added 25 on top with it, and we got another 3rd anniversary stamp. Like, I can't seem to get away from these today. So first we got the Luffy, and now we got the Nami. So these are still neat. I don't ever see them very often. The Nami is going down a little bit less, but I mean, these would probably go out quick, probably at the next show that we're going to be at, which will be the trade night over in Toledo. So this was around 195 on trade, and yeah, they just owed 25 on top. All right, Anthony's not at the booth. Well, now he is. I'm not going to get him on camera, but he dropped by and saw that we got in some more Gundam stuff, but he also saw some of the new vending series things. So as far as like the stuff that he grabbed, a couple of trainers, Missy's Wish, first edition LP, 2 of the vending series, that was in the binder. There was like some adjustments after that. So he got the Firo, the Nidoran, the Hero Yui, that one's the not expensive SP, and then of course the Mary that I just put out, about 25, but we have made it some adjustments. So it was originally 111, but we just gave them a deal for 105. So this probably will end up being the last big thing for like today, because it's just died down a lot. People left early, and unfortunately 2 things that sold. There was the Mihawk, the sealed one that we had just gotten earlier, and then there was a Heavy Arms LR, I believe from either GDO4 or GDO5. The price of that one I forgot to update because it had been a while, and both of those paired up together was around 120. So honestly, I think that's probably good enough for the end of the day, and I will see you guys back tomorrow. First big sale of the morning or early afternoon. That Nami that we picked up around the same time as the Luffy, and it's now going to a person's collection for $215. So this actually happened just a second ago. The glare and all is very bad. What is going on with this camera? So both of the Zords that were the Blaines and then the premium file, I know Carmageddon was looking at both, and we got those in 85 cash on top. And the people traded over the reverse hollow Delta species Latias, and that one is HP condition, which we agreed on. So condition on that is not as bad. So that one we got in around 70 is what we had documented, and then the Trubbish from White Flare. So that was pretty interesting little trade over. All right, so picked up a decent amount of stuff, and now as far as cash, we are tapped out for a little bit. Customer came by, they had a lot more than this, and I do have some Gundam stuff we will be going over a little bit later. So for $225 is what we ended up snagging, and they're all raw, no sealed stuff. There's the Lucaria V-Star, V-Star, Kevin, you can kind of see it right there. So the V-Star raw, Manaphy Trainer Gallery, Artilleria, the Blaziken V, we got the Suicune V, SAR, not Crown Zenith, but the Rayquaza V. Then we've got the Pikachu from Crown Zenith, SAR, and the last 2 would be the Yarn Art Artilleria, and like I said, it was around $225. All right, I am here with Abby G and John G. And do you have like a YouTube channel or any platform that you guys are on?
I do share a lot of Pokemon related things on my Instagram, which is jon.g.ferrari, Ferrari.
All right, so feel free to give them a follow. And you painted stuff that's in here, and you said it took you how long?
I started about a month ago.
Around a month.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of
You
fun.
painted the binder itself
I did.
and everything inside of it.
Jeez. And yeah, the first page, like, holy crap. And I've seen few people online do stuff like this, but I have never seen it like this good quality before. And you said, how long have you been painting for, would you say, other than that?
Other than that, I've been an artist since I was a teenager. My family, we ran a nonprofit, and I've spent my entire life doing art. So, 30 years, 40 years at this point. Yeah.
40 years.
Always trying something new, and he kind of got me back into doing like Pokemon. So I thought this is a really good way to kind of do what I love combined with what he loves, and yeah, what I think a lot of people else would appreciate as well.
Well, this is incredible stuff. I only just went through like maybe half the page, and you basically have some really incredible stuff that I think people will want to get.
We'll be getting some of these listed and available ASAP. So if you have me on Instagram, you'll be able to get to us where we do Whatnot shows later this year. So you'll be able to get one-of-ones, plus maybe a couple packs and singles.
Oh, sounds good. Well, you've got some really cool stuff, but thank you very much for sharing.
Hey, thanks.
So it's a little bit dead right now. Not really much going on in like the other half. Like camera angles just very bad. Sorry about that. So kind of slow update right now. But the only other thing that ended up selling earlier, it was the Greninja. Ash's Greninja, the Jumbo, and then 5 of the promo EX resources, the one from G Generations off the Gundam TCG. That was basically like 20. Other than that, there was like something else for like $25, and then it was mostly like trades. I'm still going through the Gundam stuff that one of our neighbors is going to be trading in, but I think he's looking for mostly cash on what he's looking to offload. But if it's anything like last time, he'll probably take in like mostly trades and then see about doing like cash on top. But it won't be anywhere close to like how much we spent the last time. But yeah, I think that might end up being it for right now. It's officially done. All the cleanup just happened maybe about 20 minutes ago, but this was still a good weekend. It was definitely a downgrade from being in the front row, but I mean, it is what it is. I think that we still secured a good amount of stuff. Couple of big trade-ins that happened, and honestly, it's Dayton. It never really disappoints, and honestly, I'm pretty happy about the whole weekend. But that's it, pretty much all the way from Dayton, Ohio, in the Dayton Mall. Man, I am like red on my skin at the moment. I don't know if it's allergies or something, but I would definitely say it was a fun weekend, and thank you very much for joining me on this journey. The next show that I am going to be venting at is going to be all the way in Michigan, Kalamazoo, for Michigan Retro Gaming Expo, and hopefully you might be able to travel up that way. There's a good amount of stuff that will be available for sale, and I am going to be doing stuff as far as like video game wise, but I will have the card stuff with me. So, love you guys very, very much. And as usual, you know how exactly I end these and all. Stay strong, stay positive, and most important of all, love ya. There goes my finger right there. Have a good one.